Welcome to Music Matters, on KMKR, LP, 99.9, FM. Where music brings community together. And now your host, Tyler Woods.
Hi, this is Tyler Woods. Music Matters here on KMKR LP 99.9 FM, Tucson, Arizona. And today I'm sitting in my studio with John Coinman. Hi, John.
Hi, Tyler.
So it's interesting. I was on Facebook not too long ago, and I saw that you posted your video and your song. And shortly after that, and I downloaded it saying, well, I'm going to play this on the radio. We contacted each other, and here you are. So, yeah, I am going to play this on the radio, along with getting to know you a little bit.
Good. Well, thank you.
Great. Hey, where are you from? Are you from Tucson?
Well, Tucson is my second home. I'm a New Mexico guy, but my grandparents came out here in 1942. And because my grandpa was from Ohio, and they came out to kind of get away from the bad weather out there. He had emphysema from smoking and undulant fever from drinking unpasteurized milk, and so they figured to start a new life here in Tucson, and they moved out here to Sweetwater and Camino de Oeste.
Oh, okay. I know exactly. I have friends that live in that area.
And they bought some land out there and built some adobe houses right out of the earth there. Mm-hmm. They made the adobe. It was
wow. That's
I still have
great.
pictures of that, and that's one of my songs.
I was going to say there's a song in
Tucson.
that. Yeah.
In Tucson, it kind of charts my history of
awesome.
Tucson, of my love of Tucson, and so I used to come out here as a kid a lot, and spent a lot of summers here and a lot of winters over Christmas, and I just fell in love with it, and then.
Sure, because we don't have winter here.
We don't have winter. We got plenty of hot summers, but I didn't mind that. My brother and I roamed the Tucson foothills looking for arrowheads and all sorts of wild things, and fell in love with it here. And so I ended up. My parents moved here in the late '70s, and then I ended up moving here with my family in '97.
All right. I'm born and bred here, so.
Oh, really? Good.
I am a desert pack rat, so.
You're a desert rat.
So, which is why I love exposing all the music here in Tucson, is because Tucson's been my community for 61 years, so I appreciate that. Your new album, your CD, you're saying that Tucson, talks about your family and everything. How did you get started in music here in Tucson? I'd be curious.
Well, let's see. When I was living in L.A. in the 80s and early 90s, mm-hmm. and my parents were out here, and so I was familiar with a little bit of the Tucson music scene, and I had in '86 I had recorded a record, an actual LP, then called "Man Alive, Firstborn," and it started getting some airplay out here in Tucson.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, and then I had in the '90s a really good friend of mine moved to Tucson. Mm-hmm. His name is Michael Blake, and he was the writer of Dances with Wolves.
Oh, wow! Okay.
So he moved to Tucson in the '90s. And while he was out here, he was very interested in wild horses, and so we worked up a show together, and we went to the Congress and played a show together with him doing spoken word and me doing a little band thing that I brought out from Tucson.
Okay, cool.
So that was my first experience playing out here, mm-hmm. and then. When we left L.A., my family and I, many years later, it was in '94, when we moved to Tucson, I had just recorded my first solo CD called "The Man Called Someone," and it started to get a lot of airplay. And so of all my wanderings around the country trying to find a home musically. I was in San Francisco in the 70s, LA in the 80s, Nashville part of that time. I finally really found a home in Tucson.
Welcome home, John. I think people come here and they truly fall in love with Tucson. And I don't know if you know this, and I say this probably every interview I do, that did you know Tucson was number 7 in the nation for the best local music?
Really?
Yeah.
Was this year or last year or at some point?
I think I read it the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing that my hometown ranks number 7 out of all the cities and the towns and the states. There's Tucson. And it's even beat Phoenix, which people from Phoenix, like Eric Ramsey and all kinds of people, come down here to play. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important.
Yeah, a lot of people are moving here. I just met Lex Browning the other night, who plays with Poco, who just moved here from Oregon.
Really? Gosh, yeah. I love Poco.
So he's somebody you might want to check with at some point. But for several years I had a record deal in Europe, and then centered out of Amsterdam. And there's a real Tucson mystique in Europe, and of course it helps with Hal Gelb and Giant Sand, and they've had a foothold in Europe and the rest of the country for a while.
For a long time.
And then Calexico also, both of whom the brands have a national and worldwide recognition, both of them. So.
I was just doing some research on Rayner. I don't know if you remember Rayner.
I remember Rayner.
And he was he played with Howard Gebb. And I thought, Howard's name keeps coming up, and I play him almost every week because he has so much music to choose from. So it always ends up being in Tucson, I've noticed what a small world it really is.
Yeah, it is.
Well, listen, what I'd like to do is we're about 7 minutes into this interview, talk to me about our first song we're going to listen to on your CD.
Well, we might as well listen to Love Is Everywhere.
That was the song I heard.
That's the video that I put out recently, and it's a song that I wrote a few years ago, and it's changed directions and had many different kind of incarnations, and finally ended up with this one. It's been recorded once before with another band that I'm in. I'm also in Kevin Costner Modern West. Kevin and I built a band together.
Kevin Costner?
The actor Kevin Costner.
Yeah, you played in a band with him. Great.
He and I built a band back in the 80s and then reconstituted it again in 2005 and have been touring pretty extensively up until the last year or so. But we recorded this in a whole other version for the Costner band about 4 years ago.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
I've always wanted to record it myself, and so this is my version of Love Is Everywhere.
Okay, so this is John Coinman and Love Is Everywhere, and we'll be right back.
This is for the innocent ones in the prison yards, for the wayward sons and the battle scars. This is for the wanderers in the old cafe, for the lonely girls and the runaways. Oh, I remember long ago when you told me love is everywhere. I remember there were times I could almost feel it in the air. And now it seems as if there's almost too much suffering for the world to bear. And it seems as if so many of us can't find love anywhere. And This is for the old ones who are all alone, for the refugees who are far away from home. This is for everyone who is struggling to be free, for us and them, for you and me. Oh, I remember long ago when you told me love is everywhere. I remember there were times I could almost feel it in the air. It seems as if there's almost too much suffering for the world to bear. And it seems as if so many of us can't find love anywhere. But I know it's there. I know it's there. Suffering for the world to bear. And it seems as if so many of us can't find love anywhere. Oh, but I know it's there.
So what is it like to play with someone like Kevin Costner? Is he just a down-to-earth, everyday guy? I get that feeling.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
I notice his wife is playing ukulele, and I'm a ukulele fanatic. So if I could, I would only do that.
I see.
No,
Yeah.
I have 22 of them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You know, I mean, I really appreciate any kind of instrument, string instrument, but I think my favorite's ukulele. So, and I just went to it because I'm sure you know Wally Larder.
Mm-hmm.
So at the folk shop there, and I went in there once and I said, "Man, my fingers and my arthritis and age," and he goes, "Oh, you need a ukulele," and I will never forgive him for getting me so into this instrument that I had to buy 22 of them.
Well, you've got a lot of kids.
I do have a lot of kids, and they're all different. They're all different. Resonators and you know, different sizes and different tones, and I enjoy it. So, tell me about Tucson and you and your music. I mean, do you find it pretty okay to find gigs here? Do you find the things at what's being offered to you is up to standard and up to par?
Oh yeah, and I don't really play a lot here. When I first got here, I did a few shows, and but not a lot. And then I became acquainted with Jonathan Holden and the Rhythm and Roots concert series that they were doing, and he asked me if I was interested in playing one of those concerts, and I did. And the main reason that he asked me is because I have a small but a kind of a national profile, but a small one, and so what I had opted to do was just play a few times in Tucson, rather than play a whole lot, and also shortly after that, in 2005, I started touring with Kevin a lot, and I didn't have any time really to play here except off and on, so I'd just play a couple of shows, but there are a lot more opportunities that have evolved over the last 5 or 10 years.
Here in Tucson?
In Tucson, a lot more.
Oh my gosh.
But my primary focus was doing a couple of shows a year, in addition to doing the folk festival. And I've always played the folk festival, I've always loved it. And then also have done a couple of fundraisers a year. Try to do
TKMA.
For TKMA, also for KXCI, and for other things like for various wild horse organizations. In fact, this show that I'm doing on the 26th, this coming Saturday, the 26th of October, all of my for anyone who gives a donation to a group
CD, right?
to this group, Voices from the Border, gets a free CD.
Okay.
And Voices from the Border is a really great nonprofit group that aids migrants and specifically in Nogales, Sonora.
That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I just became a fan. Where's your show at?
Show's at Congress Plaza, Congress Hotel Plaza. Starts at 7:30, doors open at 7.
Ticket price?
$10.
That's it, huh? See, that's what I love about Tucson is, it's not like $40 to get into a club and watch a good act.
Yeah, but Tucson increasingly has a lot more venues for people to play.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Monterey Court?
I played there several times.
Now, I think that is one of, I play in 4 different bands, and by day I'm a psychologist, so it's like, but I'll tell you, I love that whole setup at Monterey Court and the openness and the ability to have every kind of genre of music there. It's just not one type of music there, and I really appreciate all the work.
Well, Greg Haber, who's the owner of it, has basically turned what was a really struggling club into a destination.
He did.
For a lot of smaller touring groups, and Greg is a fantastic guy, and they have done a wonderful job at Monterey Court, and I can't say enough good things about him. The people that I've heard there, and I've done a few shows there too, and it's just it's become the destination for local artists too.
It really has, and I believe Greg has become an icon in Tucson. I recently found some pictures on Facebook that somebody put up of what Monterey Court looked like before Greg got his hands on it, and it was incredible. And it's just like when you see, if you want to describe what a hard-working man is, Greg would fit that description. I'm going to try to get him in sometime and interview him. Or since he never leaves that place, take the equipment down there. I'd be willing to.
That's a really good idea.
It is, because everybody who's anybody musically in town knows the word Greg Haber. So he needs to come down. I'm glad you've played there. You've been around for a while?
Yeah.
You're not a spring chicken like me. You're not a spring chicken.
No, not a spring chicken.
Yeah, I'm not even a summer chicken. I'm not. I've been fried and cooked.
I'm a fall chicken.
Oh my goodness! But
I have. I've been. I got started playing music back in the folk days in the middle '60s.
Yeah,
and I played in all sorts of rock and roll bands and like I had said earlier in this interview, I spent the 70s in San Francisco building numerous bands and playing and recording, and then moved to Los Angeles and spent the 80s in Los Angeles all the way up until 93. And then we moved here at the end of 93 in Tucson. So So I've been around a while.
So with you being around a while, and something I try to ask people that are my age or older is, how have you seen music evolve with all this modern technology? Like, I just put out a CD this year, and I get that nobody has CD players anymore. And, you know, I've been like, and I did a show recently on what do we do when no one buys your CDs because they don't play them, and what is going to be the new genre of how we get our music, mainly streaming and whatnot. But what do you think of all this?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I realize this. The CDs are an endangered species, although there are still a lot of people that would like having CDs. I say if you're trying to get your music around, like for instance KXCI still prefers a CD format, although some of the DJs there do digital formats, and there are still music directors around the country and in certain stations that would prefer getting a CD. Mm-hmm. So because it's even though you can use a digital format to send stuff out, and it's really important to do that, it's still CDs are important to have at shows, because some people still like having the package, because if you put your CD up, or you put your music up on Spotify or any of the streaming services, mm-hmm. All they allow, except for a couple of very specific digital companies, all they allow is just your cover, and that's it. So you put your cover up, and then you have your songs, and that's it. There's no credits.
Right.
There are no song lyrics, and you can put all those things up in a different format, like on all songs.
I think on Bandcamp you can put up the whole CD.
And you could put up everything.
Because my preference is Bandcamp, so I do Bandcamp and CDs mm-hmm. For now. But I was at a show the other night with Cinder Bridge. I don't know if you've heard them. Very mm-hmm. delightful band. And they were saying, well, if you sign up for our, email list, we'll give you a card for your free download. And I thought, what a clever idea. Mm-hmm. And they're not the first ones that have done that. So, I by the way, I love modern technology. I mean, when I was 8 or 9, I was using a cassette, an 8-track, and a reel-to-reel mm-hmm. to make a 3-track. Mm-hmm. And I knew that at the age of probably 9 or 10, mm-hmm. and then it was like, wow, So then all of a sudden, they started coming out with, I remember getting my first Fostex 4-track, and like,
I still use a 4-track to do my demos.
Do you? Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
It's a format that I'm familiar with, and I love the sound of them. I still have a Tascam 4-track that I use, and it's also a viable sound that you can easily digitize.
Well, and they now have the little Tascams that are this big. That
mm-hmm.
are 4-tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a 2-track one,
mm-hmm.
And they're like $99, and the 4-tracks I think are $189. I mean, technology has made things more affordable, I think.
More affordable, and it
more
makes
doable.
it makes our music more accessible.
It does.
And so it's just important that people, if they want to stay in music and age with music, they need to stay up on whatever's happening, because we can have a certain impact through voting and through paying attention to legislation that helps or hurts songwriters. But the most important thing is to stay up on the various formats, because you can still, even though you don't get much, you can still get paid through YouTube, mm-hmm. depending on how many people listen. You still get paid through Spotify, but not much.
Right.
I have I get a statement every 3 months from my administrative publisher, BMG,
uh-huh.
and I've watched the difference in how where the money comes from, mm-hmm. where it used to come when we were touring a lot would come from sales and from airplay around the world, and now it's primarily Spotify and was iTunes. And I had a song out as a single on Sony Records called "The Angels Came Down" that was recorded by the Costner Band. And I used to get, or still do for the last few years, get pages and pages in my administrative publishing readout of the amount of times the song has been played or streamed. And sometimes it'll be 4 or 5 pages of single-spaced computer paper, and I'll make about $7 or $8.
Yeah,
that's
don't
a famous.
spend it all in one place there.
And
okay,
that's a
John?
famous. I mean, a lot of people will talk about getting 1 million cuts and
Yeah.
1 million reads, 1 million streams, and get $1,000 from it. But that's going to evolve also.
I believe so. Hey, let's take a pause because we have to put some more music in here. What's the next cut we can hear from your new CD?
Let's listen to "Silver Necklaces."
Okay, so this is Tyler Woods. You're listening to KMKR LP 99.9 FM Tucson, and with me is John Coinman, and we're going to listen to "Silver Necklaces," and we'll be right back.
I remember those who came long before me and now are gone. Those who laid these strong foundations that I used to build upon. Even though I never knew them or the lands from where they came, even though I never knew if they wore silver necklaces or iron chains. Silver necklaces or iron chains, they are all my kin, all my name. Their hopes and dreams in me remain. Silver necklaces or iron chains. Along with nations already here came the rich and the poor and slaves from Africa. I can hear their drums and voices in the winds across America, across America. silver necklaces or iron chains. They are all my kin, in my heart the same. Their hopes and dreams in me remain. Silver necklaces or iron chains.
You know what I like, John, is I do like, from the first song I heard, your guitar style and everything. How long have you been playing guitar?
I started when I was 17, so 74 now, so 67 years.
Okay.
And I'm an adequate rhythm guitar player. I'm not really a solo player. And my basic styles, as you hear on Love is Everywhere, I grew up learning Travis picking like a lot of other folk guitar players did. And so I still do that a lot. And but then I like to play electric also. And so my primary on recording and performing, I don't finger pick that much. I usually play just with a pick and strum.
And what kind of guitar you have?
I have what's called a J185. It's a Gibson guitar. That's the same shape as a J200 with the old thing that Elvis used to swing around.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a smaller version of it.
So tell me, who was your inspiration? I mean, for me, growing up, it was the Beatles, and I learned harmonies from the Carpenters. I hate to admit it, but it's true.
They're great harmonizers.
Eagles, I listened to a little bit of Eagles as I was, mainly it was the Beatles and the Stones and things like that. Who was your influence? Dylan always will be Dylan.
Yeah, it was Dylan primarily, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
And the Beatles were huge, and the Rolling Stones. I mean, the same amount of groups, but Donovan was also a big,
very good.
Was a big influence on me, and also I grew up in Clayton, New Mexico, which is about 90 miles east of Raton, and Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs came from Raton.
Oh, really?
And they used to play a lot of our old Western dances, and so I also grew up with Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs when I was a kid, and they used to come and play. Also, Roy Orbison was one of my huge influences when I was young. Marty Robbins was one of my really big influences, and a lot of old country guys.
Yeah, I was raised in old country, very young Hank Williams, and my mom was an Elvis fan. Not so me. I didn't get the appreciation for Elvis till I was a teenager. And then I liked his old stuff, and was really a great inspiration for me. And I don't know why to this day is Johnny Cash. I really, my family listened to that. My father's cousin is Boxcar Willie, and so my parents would go to the Grand Ole Opry all the time. And my parents are from the South, but they live here. They homesteaded here in good old Tucson, Arizona, and I appreciate that. So
what bands do you play in here?
I'll
come out and see you.
Well, I play in a band called Wired. It's with Greg Aiken, Jerry Martin, Bonnie Johnson, Leslie Ford, and myself. And we mainly play at the Minton House of Bards in Monterey Court. We'll be at Monterey Court next month. I play in another band called Good Times, which is just a fun band. And we kind of we take folk songs and we infuse rap into it. And I play in that because I get to play bass. And then another band we just started called The Great Dames. And it's taking women from different bands and putting them together collectively to do music. And then I have a band in Phoenix called the Holy Hoo-Hoos, and it's a classic rock band.
Classic rock band?
Yeah, we do all classic rock. And that's probably, we've been together on and off for 40 years. So there you have it.
Yeah.
And I have a blast. Every band is different. And that's what I like is I'll go here to play this style, here to play this style.
So you're busy.
I am busy.
You're busy with this show and with your practice here, your day practice, and your band.
And writing my third book.
And writing your third book.
Called Swearapy.
like
Swearing can be really good for you.
It can.
It can be, and so I'm very careful, but on the radio you can't swear, so I don't think any radio station will be promoting that book. However, I'm having a blast writing it. And
sometimes I was going to say that when you mentioned Swearapy, I got a delivery from a UPS guy yesterday.
Yeah.
And we live out in the desert, and so you have, what most of the guys do when they come out is they do a circle around. There's a circle drive, but he didn't know that, and he backed up. He had to back up into another drive as a part of our property, and he had been given a bad deal that day with the truck, and I saw him down there, and I wondered why he hadn't come up. So I walked down there, and as I'm getting close, I can hear all of these swear words coming out of the truck, and boxes being thrown all over the place. And I said, and I kind of hesitated a minute, and I said, "Hello," and so anyway, he said, "I'm really sorry," he said, "but I got a bad deal today." And he said, "I don't usually cuss like that, but I needed it." And I said, "Okay."
Well, I always tell people,
don't
apologize for swearing, because it's a great emotional release. So. Because I work with human emotion for a living, I'm always saying, just say it and get it over with, So what's on the board for you next? Our time is running out, and what's on the board for you next?
Well, I'm going to do a couple of shows. I'll do a show in Tubac. I'm going to go out and do a show in Monterey, California, in the end of November. In the meantime, I'm making more videos for this Under the Sun, and marketing it as much as I can.
And are you still playing with the Kevin Costner Band, or?
We are still writing together, and we're supposed to be. We put together another companion CD to a series that he's working on.
Okay, good.
We did a companion CD to Hatfields and McCoys. That was a pretty successful CD, and now we've done one for Yellowstone, that series that he's in. So we're recording. We finished it. We're supposed to release it sometime this Christmas.
Well, I'll be sure to play one of the band songs here, because my first set of music, I try to select things that you may like. Yeah. So I'll definitely be putting Dylan in there, and some Beatles in there, and the Kevin Costner Band, and we'll put some good stuff in there for you. Any other things you would like in there?
In terms of the music?
Yeah.
Put some Rainer in.
Rainer, yeah, I've just been downloading some of his stuff lately. Yeah, I've met him several times. He was awesome.
Yeah, I saw him one time here, and I really love his work. So I would love to hear that. I would also, let's see, what else can you put up? Look up Mark Inslee and put some of his stuff up. He's another local singer-songwriter, roots rocker, Americana.
Okay.
He's really great. Mark Inslee. He plays. I've been
Inslee,
playing
like it sounds.
Insley.
Oh, Insley.
And he plays every Thursday night at Iron John's brewery downtown. So
Okay.
he'd be a good person to put up, and put a little Donovan up.
I do love Donovan.
Yeah.
You know, I have to tell you, as a kid, before videos came out, I used to spin his 45 of Atlantis, and then I'd go take pictures of fish and stuff and everything. And then I did my first video with my dad's old slide. My father was a professional photographer in the war, and he had all this equipment, and I would make my own little videos. And my first video was done to Donovan's Atlantis,
really?
and it was like...
Yeah.
Sure, I just have so much that I just love, because I grew up with music, so it's good. Hey, I appreciate you coming down here today, getting to know you, putting out such wonderful music, and being so free with your CD. I wish this was airing before the show, but this won't air for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But I will plug for you and get some
Good.
people there for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tyler.
You have been a wonderful guest.
Thank you for having me on.
Tell me what we're going to leave our people with.
We're going to leave with a song called Tucson, which is a kind of a long song that is all about my, all about history and the bloodline of Tucson.
That might end up being my favorite, because I am a Tucson fanatic. So thank you again. Y'all listen to Tucson, and then when you come back, we'll talk about this week's topic, which I don't know what it is yet, but when I discover what it is, you'll find out too. So see you on the other side of Tucson.
Look at this land. Once it was the ocean. The sky was dark and the earth was frozen. Look at this land, the sunrise glowing. In the dawning light, long shadows falling. And I woke up to the sound of the coyotes calling. Look at this land. Long ago it had no name. The wind blew wild on the desert untamed. That's how it was when the first men came to Tucson. They wandered far, found their home, built their walls out of mud and stone. Their souls in Tucson. In Tucson. Other men came on trails and byways, railroad tracks, telephone poles on the highways. Here on this land, long ago the rivers were tamed, the desert grew green, the roads were paved. That's how it was when my grandfather came to Tucson. Look at this land of life it's holding, the past behind and the world exploding.